It's June 1944, and we've just pulled up to a little ford just on our way towards Paris, just to have a break for a second amongst all the maelstrom going on in Normandy. And this Jeep is now 1 year old. It's been 1 year since it's been built, and it's done 1,000 miles. And I think it's about time we just look at it as she starts to get finished. And as you can see, a lot has changed since we've last seen it. And I think we should just go around it, have a look at it, look at some of the details, and look at some of the last little bits I've put on this beautiful vehicle. Just to really sort of finish it off now. So come and join me today while we have a look around, we do some driving, we look at some of the final details on this pretty much brand new 1 year old Jeep. The first thing loyal subscribers will notice is that we've got a windscreen finally. Yes, we've actually got a windscreen. After years of you shouting at me for not having one, I do have one now, which is fantastic. It was sold to me by the chap who we'd be going to see his original Jeeps, very kindly. This is off a Norwegian Willys MB, and it needed quite a lot of work to get it to fit on here, you know, a lot of bending and what have you, which was a real nightmare, and I managed to burn myself bending it and everything, but anyway. It's on here, it looks amazing, it really sets the Jeep off now. I can actually drive at speed without having bumblebees in my face attacking me and that sort of thing. And of course, the other great thing about having a windscreen on one of these is you can put the summer top up finally. So for the first time, we've got the canvas on here, and this is Allied canvas made in the UK. Absolutely beautiful, as you can see, beautifully tight. It's not going to go flapping around and smacking you on the head all the time. Really nice to drive it, actually. Very different to driving around, you know, without a windscreen and without a top. So it just sort of makes you feel a bit more enclosed, and it's a lot noisier in here when you're driving around it. So quite a different feel, but yeah, this is absolutely beautiful work here from Jim at Allied Canvas. So really happy with that. Right, now we've got the elephant in the room out the way, or should I say the canvas in the room. Should we go around this thing and have a look at it and have a look what one of these looks like after 1,000 miles in a year of driving? Now in World War II, they reckon 1,000 miles is what you do in a single month, and it's taken me a year to do that. Obviously, I'm not driving it every day sort of thing, but it just sort of shows the difference in how much we use these. But it'd be really good for modelers, and if you're doing your own restoration as well, just have a look at some of the details now and some of the weathering on it. It's interesting to see actually, but she's coming along really nicely. So let's go around and have a look. Right then, let's do this walk around this Ford. Okay, you can see we've got the markings on here now. We've got 2nd Armour 66 Armoured Recon 36 Jeep. There's a good photo in World War II of this Jeep. It's not this exact Jeep, and I'm not actually copying that Jeep, but I'm just using its markings as an example sort of thing. So we've got our markings on there. Overall, you can see she's looking very clean, actually, very nice. One of the things I haven't told you about, which I've been working on, is I've changed the tyres. In the UK, you can't get hold of the reproduction Goodyear tyres, except I found you can. There was a supplier who was selling them, so I sold my Firestones, which are correct for a GPW, and I put on the Goodyears, and the Goodyears have this different pattern in them. They've got this pencil pattern in them, whereas the Firestones we'll look at on the back are sort of cut off here. So these are correct for an MB Jeep, so we've sort of improved there by putting these beautiful Goodyears on here. Let's see if we can spot that Goodyear symbol down there in the water. Absolutely beautiful. So we've been working on that there. We put the correct tyres on for an MB, not just whatever we can. This is how it should look. And they're a good, you know, they're an important part of the look of an MB actually. See loads of photos in Normandy, and the pencil grip shows really well. So it's very important for it. We put the antenna mast bag on the front bumper. There's no way you're supposed to put it within the Jeep, but lots of people seem to put it down there, so I've put it there, which is great. The other thing is we've got our wading flag on the windscreen now as well. The wading flag tells you what to do when you get on the beach. So when you're driving this thing off the landing ship onto the beach, it's all set up so that it doesn't get water everywhere in it. And these on the back of this little flag here, it's all signed, and it says, actually it's signed on the front there, it says that it's been inspected to make sure it's waterproof. And then if you go on the back of it, it shows you what you're supposed to do when you get onto the beach. Look at that, awesome. And inside Jeep Fetishists, I've fitted the rifle rack, the universal rifle rack in its case. This is the new old stock one I found, okay? This is the first time she's ever been on a vehicle. As I said, got a bit of damage there, but otherwise completely brand new, totally beautiful. Really nice to put something like that on a Jeep, a working Jeep, you know, to take this thing which has sat around for 80 years doing nothing, and then to give it its new lease of life and its new, you know, job on board a Jeep for hopefully another 80 years or so is really actually quite satisfying to do. The other great thing about this to do is to compare this canvas. So this is the original canvas, and then these are the Paolo long olive drab line canvas on these seats. And I tell you what, the match, the colour match, the weave and everything is really quite incredible actually. They've done such a good job with that, that this is what makes these seats worth so much. They really are next level sort of thing, absolutely beautiful. She's all holding up very nicely actually. We've still got some paint on the exhaust. It's not completely rusted yet and gone all rusty colour. It's still a bit of pink in there, which is very nice. Just coming round to the back, what I was going to say, if you don't know about it, this is the Firestone style grip here. It's sort of cut off, whereas the Goodyear has the pencil grip on it, which is very, very noticeable on the Willys MB. And also on the rear here, we've got our markings. We've got our Recon 36 second armour markings and our caution left-hand drive, because of course this vehicle is a left-hand drive, and these were driven in the England before they went across to Normandy and across the continent. So they put these markings on it, and it should have a max speed 40 miles an hour on this side, but I didn't actually order that, would you believe? So I've got to order it and get that fitted. But she's looking lovely. Should we go down into the water and go around this side? It's a bit deeper here. Trailer socket's got tape on it. Oh, there we go, it's right up my feet. Trailer socket's got tape on it because just to keep some of the sand and water and dust out when it was coming off the beach, so I've done that. I saw that on a photo of one of these. And then we haven't got our radio fitted yet. I tried to win one and didn't get one the other day. My feet are getting very wet now. My original boots. Boots, no. But yeah, I'm just going to have to get wet. Standing here, you can see, you know, it's not really that worn inside there at all. You can see the bolt head's starting to get worn there, the paint's coming off, and it's obviously a bit dirty and what have you. But she's bearing up pretty well, so she's doing really nicely for 1,000 miles. What about under the hood then? What does it look like, you know? Let's have a look. Let's lift her up. Now I can do it and put it on my windshield for the first time, which is lovely. Okay, what you can see is the fan on a Jeep sprays bug guts everywhere. This is very, very common with them. So if you're ever modelling them or something like that, the bug gut spray has got to be everywhere. Get a bit of oil blowout if these lines here are not completely tight. There may be the occasional drip and blast and what have you. Anywhere which rubs on one of them, it sort of creates a sort of a black metal powder. So you can see this bit here contacts and rubs just on there, and it sort of turns the metal into this black powder, and it flows back with a wind flow. So you do see that in a lot of places. Overall, she's really nicely behaved. Just take that in. Beautiful. This, of course, remember, has the French Solex, the World War II French Solex, not the post-war French Solex carburettor on it. Very good carburettor, very well behaved, apart from the needle sticking earlier, as I said. I think a GI moving to one of these from the WO, the WO Carter carburettor, which these should have been fitted with from the factory, would have problems with it if he wasn't completely aware of it, okay? Because these things are funny. Starting them hot, the fuel drains down and you get a very rich condition in here, so there's a special way to start it when you're hot. You've got to put your foot on the accelerator, which is the opposite of what you have to do when you're starting it cold. And if you don't know this, you're just going to wind the battery down and just wear it out. So an unusual carburettor, not great for use in the military situation unless you know what you're doing with it, but if you do know what you're doing with it, really, really good, really fantastic. So very happy with how all that's going there. Let's have a look at her. She's a beaut. Very nice. Yeah, looking very smart in here. Let's go drive it. I don't actually know where this road goes, but we'll go down it anyway. So I think the question lots of you have is it worth it doing it this way? Is it worth going to such lengths to build a Jeep, to try and build the perfect Jeep? And I think, of course, and I'm biased, absolutely, you know, everything I look at here is what I wanted it to be. There's zero compromise, or very, very little compromise on this Jeep at all. It is, you know, as far original and as close to original as you could possibly get while keeping your sanity. And is it worth it? I mean, look at it. So good. It's all about the feeling. And the feeling of driving it in here, for me, and knowing this is original, and this is original, and this is original, and everything I touch is the same, woo, as it was in World War II, and this is the feeling of it, without being shot at and everything like that, is so important. And that's what this vehicle is about. It's about feeling. And getting it to go into first gear as well. it's about feeling and evoking that feeling, isn't it? And when you make it really nice and really original and exactly how it should feel, how it should have felt in World War II, then it's a special thing. It's a special thing. Would I do it again? No, absolutely not. I wouldn't advise you do it either. It's crazy. It's too expensive, too difficult, and it takes too long. You know, now I've done it, obviously, it's fantastic, but looking back on it, my God, what a journey. So, you know, if you're going to rebuild one, rebuild it to the level you're happy with, but it's very difficult, it's very hard. But the outcome is fantastic. Just look at it. Listen to that. Woohoo! Awesome. Where the hell are we? Although it might seem like we've gone as far as it's possible to go with this Jeep project and working on it and building the perfect Jeep, there's always something else to do, there's always something to move on, and I've still got other things to do to this yet. I could put on the vacuum wiper system like I had on the last Jeep. I've got things like a windshield cover. There's a winter kit you can have on this, a winter cover kit you can have for the Jeep as well. I've got things like in this box here, we've got for the blackout fender lights, that's a reproduction on there with original lights and what have you on it, but look at this. New old stock original in the box and things like that. So there's lots of different things I can put on here. I've even got the deep water fording kit for this Jeep as well, which we could put on there one day and see, you know, have a play with it and have a look at it. So the great thing about this project is, although it is effectively finished now, apart from the radio and maybe putting a wire cutter on it, see, another thing, a wire cutter as well. Although it's effectively finished, there's always going to be something else to do with it and some way to improve it, which is just great. And that's not to say the blooming engine's not going to blow up or something like that as well. So always something to do with the Jeep. That's what makes them so great. And in my opinion, driving this so much and spending so much time with them, really, I've got to say, I think the World War II Jeep is probably the best vehicle ever made. You know, after Space Shuttle, or a Model T, or Jaguar E-Type, or a Spitfire. Yeah, you know, it's around there. One of the best vehicles ever made. World War II Jeep. Fantastic. See you next time.